Making $153 trading Tesla. What's going on, guys? Welcome on in for recap. I didn't think I'd be back. I'll be honest with you. Didn't think I'd be back, but here we are, back for another recap because we got a setup while I'm sitting here. I just was doing laundry. Then I checked my computer and I'm like, oh, we got a setup. We got to take it. And that actually worked out really well on the bigger time frames too. So this was taken on the 10K account. We have two trades for today. One of them was technically a swing from yesterday on the oil. That was yesterday's recap. You'll see that one. If you want to go back to the recaps from yesterday, you'll go and see it. Or you could go and see it. Tesla on 10K account, oil was on the 25K account, hence the size difference. But still pretty good risk reward, pretty good trade if you ask me on the Tesla. I was actually risking around $60 initially on this trade, and it ended up making $150. Now I did scale out, so I'll talk about that. I sold 75% at a original specified location, and then I sold the rest at an additional specified location, which you can kind of probably see right here. I know it's small, but if you can read it, you can read it, but I'll explain it now. So this was taken on the 5-minute time frame. Really good setup, I think, because you had what I was looking at on the live stream earlier today was Tesla's consolidation. I was like, I don't like this. I don't like it. It's just not clean. But here's an example of what I do like. So you kind of see the consolidation move. Don't like it. Got the lower wick to low a day. Then it came back up. Snap. It's choppy, weird action, and I don't like that. Then we get a nice lower high, pressure to the downside, and we break low a day, but then we start to consolidate. So like we break it by a little bit. We didn't go all the way flush, and then we have a clean consolidation. When you give me a clean consolidation, I mean, I gotta trade it as long as the higher time frames are aligned. So that's what we were looking for. And so that was the trade setup. And we drilled through the 224. That was my first target. I took off at 224. Actually, I got it a little bit later than that. I got it 223.82 because it just freaking dumped through 224. And I was like, oh shit. And then I hit the button and then it sold it at 223.82. So I ended up making a little more than I was going to make. But either way, it doesn't matter. And then I put the target at 223. Almost flat was my final target. And so here's the reasoning why. So original play was about a 1.5 to 1 risk reward. If you do the math, this brings you 1.5 was approximately just below 224. So I said 224 roughly is a good spot, psychological spot, whole number makes sense. So we break that down and I get the first scales out there, and then I sold the rest at 223. Now why 223? If you jump out to the bigger time frames on the daily chart, you will see that we have a gap on the chart on Tesla. Now, these gaps, they have to fill? No, they don't always fill. They don't have to fill. I almost just scratched my watch, but it's indestructible because it's the Ultra. But no, they don't have to fill. But could be good bets, and usually is good bets, and so that's why we play it. And so that would have been around 222.25, give or take. So now, could I have gone for more? Yes, but I went for the next psychological, or the next whole number, whole dollar level. I thought that was a good spot. And sometimes going for the entire gap, the whole gap doesn't fill. So I was like, let's be a little bit cautious here and sell just before the gap fill, hence the 223. Either way, I thought that was good bets and good looks inside the 224 area for a chunk of change to be made for a further move. And so that's why I did that. But I wanted to make sure we lock gains quickly, or not lock gains quickly, but we lock gains here, lock it, move stop loss to break even on the remaining 25%, so we can't really get screwed. I locked $100+ in. Let's just actually pull it up. Trade history at the bottom right, and I'll show you. So you can see the bottom is Tesla from today. And if we go across, I know it's very small, but it's 106. That was the first partial, the 45 shares locked in at for 106. And then I moved my stop loss to break even. So worst case scenario, I was going to make at that point in time when my original take profit hit, I was going to make worst case scenario $106 in the trade. Then the final remaining piece was what ended up making me the additional $46.95. And so the trade comes out to a total of 153.15. So there you go. Just so happens that it ends up becoming the largest day of the month as we're finishing the month out. Now, technically, it's not the largest day of the month because the other trade was a swing trade, but if you realize all the gains in the same day, then we made $420. $420 to finish out. Well, it's not yet. It's Tuesday. Tomorrow's Wednesday. I don't know if we're going to trade tomorrow because we got the FOMC. Probably won't. I didn't think I was going to trade today, but I did. Sometimes that's how it goes. I think that's the best way to think about it. Almost coming into the day not thinking you're going to trade, but then if you get a setup, you do, is kind of the way I think you should, or I think it helps sometimes. Avoid overtrading. So there you have it. Currently at a 43% win rate with a 2-to-1 average win-loss. I'll see you guys in the next one. This is TradeZella. Peace.